So 3 blocks in today's workout. Leaving the legs alone more or less today. A bit of glutes. So block A, we're going to start with 3-point row. So I've said it before, just currently with the kind of lockdown restrictions in place, you probably can't do too much of these really in terms of kind of posture and back strength or back health even at the moment. So obviously it's hard to get a variety in our pulling movements, especially if you don't have access to rings or pull-up bars or anything like that too. So really focusing on this one, we're doing our own movement. So just scap retraction and protraction on the way down. So we're trying to get the shoulder blade moving through full range in the context of the dumbbell or the kettlebell row. What I'm looking for is 12 repetitions each side on this one. Again, if the weight is a bit light, maybe we can use a band for extra resistance, or we can try and slow it down and spend a bit more time under tension and do more repetitions. So we're going to mix this with a pushing movement, so the floor press next. Again, nothing fancy on this one. Weight is probably sufficient enough for me in terms of just doing a standard floor press. If it's a little bit lighter, you could do glute bridge with floor press or single leg glute bridge. Again, just soft enough landing with the elbow on the floor. They're not slamming the elbow into the ground. Nothing too technical or complex about this one. Same deal, we're looking for in and around 12 repetitions on each side. A lot of single arm work, even single leg work. I recommend maybe starting on the weak side first, seeing how many repetitions you get with the weak side, and let that dictate how many you do on the good side. So that's movement number 2. Pushing movement, we're going to finish then with a core piece. So the third movement for block A is the reverse plank. So it's going to be 3-point row, floor press, and reverse plank. So this one again, I'm trying to pull my shoulder blades back and down, I'm trying to push up through my glutes. Straight line ideally from my shoulder to my ankle. So 30 seconds here, and we're back down to our row for 3 rounds. Block B, you're going to start with the pullover with glute bridge. Got a bit lighter on the weight here. I find this primarily probably is actually core or glutes, at least in this one. So I've got my left foot on the floor, left glute is active. When I'm coming back up with the arms, I'm trying to really kind of tense through my tummy. So I'm kind of, I guess, like a mini crunch, pulling the tummy in and bring the arms back up as well. So using the glute to stabilize the hips. I'm not twisting or turning side to side. And I'm going to go for just quality repetitions here. I'm going to go for 8 on each side. So when that's done, then we're going to come into the Z press. So again, if the weight's heavy, we can do a standing press or push press. I just want to do an overhead pressing variation here. So I'm just mixing up today with the Z press. So my legs are slightly, or the knees are slightly bent, or at least soft knees. I'm not locking them out. I'm trying to sit tall here. I'm not going to attack by those fucking pigeons. So 10 to 12, I think I'm going for 12 repetitions each side on this one. So there's a lot of pressing work here. The arms probably be a little bit tired from the floor press as well too. So it's a kind of accumulation of fatigue on this one. So if the weight is light initially on the block A, don't stress it too much at the party. Things will get a little more challenging as fatigue kicks in. So this is the second movement in block B. Then to finish block B, this is a movement that we did last week, so it's a core piece. Again, trying to get a bit of variety to our rowing because we're kind of restricted or limited at the minute without the extra equipment in the gym. So what I'm doing here is just having my knees slightly kind of hovering off the floor. I want to try and get my hips almost over the knees. I'm just going to go for 10 repetitions on each side here. So I can go wider with my feet if I feel my balance is a little bit off here. But I want to try and keep my shoulders and hips level on this one as much as possible. So tight through the core. That's the third movement of B. So it's the pullover with the glute bridge, the Z press, and then the quadruped, I cannot pronounce this one at all. Elevated quadruped, who knows, rows. So core, very much active on this one. Final block, back to the rolling, tricep push-ups. So we'll be pretty tired by the time we get to this one. So previously we've been doing these kind of like fresh earlier in the workouts. So I've put these later in the workouts today just to test ourselves a little bit more in terms of technique. Again, see where we're at. I would say try and add a couple more repetitions to the last time we did these, but we're under a bit more fatigue. So maybe, you know, in and around 5, a range of about 5 to 8 repetitions here. When those guys are done, we're going to come into the Deadbug with the single arm press. Again, building up fatigue here nicely with the pushing movement, so it'll be a bit more challenging here. We could go body weight, but I'm just going to try and stick with the lighter kettlebell here. Key is pushing the lower back into the floor. So I'm pressing with my left arm initially, and as I'm lowering the left arm, I'm lowering the right leg. As I'm extending the right leg, I'm trying to really push the lower back into the floor. I don't want my back to lift off the ground on this one. When the Deadbug and the floor press is finished, we're just going to do a little piece just for, I guess, flexibility, mobility, posture, just some floor slides. And again, the floor slides, I'm going to bend my knees. If my legs are straight on the floor, it's kind of hard to keep the back flat, so I'm bending my knees, pushing my lower back into the floor, and I'm just sliding my arms up, or my forearms up in a straight line. So again, just because of concrete, I'm already hovering slightly here, but I want to have my elbows, wrists, knuckles in contact with the floor even. I'm lifting up and lower back press into the ground the whole time. So you should feel a stretch across the chest and shoulders. 10 repetitions here, and then we're going to go back and restart the block then.